radio.com. Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UENradio.com.
Welcome to Both Sides Now, featuring the unconventional duo, Dr. Shirley and medium Kellee White.
Two perspectives, one world.
This is Both Sides Now.
Everyone, and welcome to Both Sides Now. I'm Dr. Shirley.
And I'm medium Kellee White.
And we have our live producer, John.
Hello, ladies. Happy to be here.
I finally tonight know the difference between an engineer and a live producer. And John does so much more than merely engineering.
So
Not that that's something to, minimize, because that I look at that board and I just, I get tired. It exhausts me just to look at the board.
I see him as a right brain genius.
The whole thing that you said, like I'm an octopus and all of the tentacles going off and doing all the things, multitasking. That's what she calls me, and it's stuck with me. I've always see it now that way, so it's kind of funny.
And you do so much more than the engineering piece you produce.
Yeah.
You help us out so much, and you put
so
up
much.
you do everything. So
Thank you.
So
I love doing it. I love this show, so I'm happy to do it.
So Glenn, we love you. So
completely.
We are going to call you. We're going to give you the title that is due, that you've been doing for us for a very long time.
Thank you.
And so tonight we are so excited to follow James. I mean, oh my God.
It's great.
Right?
Totally great. Yay. Thank
Yes.
you, James.
So
we love
lovely.
you.
He's so lovely. So if there are any people hanging on the line to get readings, Kellee is going to do readings. We're just going to, she's going to give us kind of an overview of the planets and stuff, because I always like to know what to expect. Yep. My left brain needs to know. And then we're going to talk a little bit about sabotage tonight. It's a very important topic that I think all of us do at one time or another. And then most of the time we don't realize we're doing it.
Oh, yeah. Well, so let's start off with what's going on right now astrologically.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we still have Mercury in retrograde. So, for instance, things that will break, things that will fall apart, things you don't sign anything during this period of time. We had a baby shower for my daughter this weekend, and the gal that was bringing the champagne, of course, her car broke down with a flat tire, and but fortunately, she made it, anyway, which was great.
Yeah,
but
that's a wonderful shower.
It was great, but it is a Mercury in retrograde kind of a thing. But additionally, we have a lunar eclipse, and not just any lunar eclipse. We have a full lunar eclipse this Friday.
Ooh, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, a lunar eclipse is really about relationships. So it could be a relationship between you and me, or or whomever,
or love
a
relationships.
love relationship.
Right, any
but
kind
it
of
also can mean a relationship between food, work, health. Oh yeah. Let's expand our views here. It could be really any type of a relationship.
Okay.
And this particular one, it can trigger an awareness of our needs. This particular one, and what we have going here is. It's in Virgo, so there's a lot of Virgo is organized and it has a meaning and a purpose, and then there's Pisces that's very spiritually oriented, because it's also in Pisces at a certain degree. So we've got a whole. It'll be an interesting time, because it really means it's going to give us a cosmic push to make needed changes.
So it almost sounds like it's a cosmic push for balance, because it almost
Completely
sounds like Virgo
balanced.
is the left brain, if we want to call it that, and
Yes.
then Pisces is the right brain, and so it's a nice balance between both, right?
Absolutely.
Being organized, but also being creative. And
That's exactly
And setting
what it is.
boundaries.
Setting boundaries. Really pay attention to your emotions. They'll be very heightened. Be careful with driving. I always mention that because, and also the other thing I want to point out is this particular lunar eclipse, the effects are for 6 months.
Oh.
So really pay attention to whatever you're thinking needs change. If you need change and growth in your relationship, Pay attention to that. All right. So that's really
and
what this is.
When you say pay attention, do you mean kind of notice if there's any shifts or changes? Or
This is really what I mean. Notice that how are you happy in your relationship? How are you feeling? What kind of change would you like to see?
And
it
again,
really,
that could be relationship with food, relationship with alcohol.
absolutely,
even,
absolutely. But it really
Okay.
ties into our topic tonight, which is sabotage.
Yeah.
Because it really pay attention to. Let's talk about awareness and let's talk about sabotage.
Right.
Because sabotage is a perfect topic for this lunar eclipse coming up. So it really will force us to look at what we're doing and how we're operating. So let's talk about sabotage, Cheryl, from a
Let's
psychological
talk about it.
standpoint.
Well, I think as we all know, and let me define it just for my left brains out there, that need that definition, because I know I do. It's when our own behavior, conscious or not, gets in the way of reaching our goals. Which is a very simple kind of way of understanding what it is. And in conscious or not is a very important piece of it, because most of the time we're not conscious when we're sabotaging ourselves. From a psychological standpoint, there are many reasons for sabotaging ourselves, whether, again, it's conscious or not conscious. Some of it is fear of failure, fear of success, a familiarity of failure. You've been told that you're no good or you're going to fail or and that could run into the fear of success or fear of failure. And, when some people talk about the fear of success, it's like, well, what does that mean? And it's interesting to really point out that when you haven't had a lot of positive experiences, particularly in your childhood when your brain is developing, or a lot of attuned experiences or loving experiences, you're not used to that. So to grow up saying, I want to succeed and I'm going to have a loving relationship and I'm going to have, everything's going to be great. If you're not used to what it feels like, you wouldn't go out, that's not from an energetic standpoint, and you'll talk more about that, what you're going to attract in your life. You're going to attract what's familiar. So when I work with people, I actually help them expand their tolerance, and I use that word very purposefully, tolerance for positive things. Because if you've never felt it, you haven't built a container for it. And
So
you have no
true.
tolerance for it. So something may come great in your life, and then all of a sudden you sabotage it without realizing it because you're not used to it. You haven't built, you don't know what it feels like to feel okay. And in fact, feeling okay may actually cause anxiety or feeling happy, you know.
Right.
So, the way that I work is very somatically. So think of something, the last thing that happened that, was nice or you were happy about, or think of something that makes you happy. And then what do you notice? And you immediately take it into the body. I notice warmth, or I notice relaxation, or I notice expansion. And sometimes right after that, boom, the anxiety will show up, because for every expansion, there's a contraction. So that's okay. But that moment of noticing starts to stimulate other parts of your brain and starts to expand your container.
So that gives you an awareness then.
Absolutely.
Which is really what we need when we're talking about sabotage.
Yeah.
And one of the things somebody told me this great quote today. It was an Oprah quote, which I thought was really great. She said, "I'm not special. I'm obedient to the call of my dreams." Because as a spiritualist, you really need to pay attention to or as a soul, to pay attention to your, what is it that you came here for? What did you incarnate for?
Yeah.
So on the other side, what we do is we're in our soul group, You're probably part of my soul group, John.
I think
Mine too.
we're all
I'm
three.
sure.
Yes.
I'm sure.
I was like, I brought you in. I know we're all part of the
Thanks,
same.
John. Always thinking about me.
Of course.
But what I meant by that is because they're usually people that are souls that you've had, lots of lifetimes together that know you so well, and they know why you're going to incarnate. And so let's just take this for an example. Let's say we're up there and we're in our soul group. This time I'm going to do intimacy. I really want to understand intimacy. And then you might say, well, Kellee, you tried that once before and you've tried it a few times. What are you going to do differently this time? Well, I don't know. This time I'm going to, only do certain things. I don't know. I'm never going to do this and I'm never going to do that and I'm only going to do this. Oh, really? You think you can do that? Yeah, I think so. Of course, we get here, and that's just not the case. We get here,
And we're human.
and next thing you know, you're looking for love in all the wrong places.
Right.
And
There's
when
a song.
it's a
There's
song like
there.
that, yeah. And that really can happen, and it does happen to a lot of my clients. I'm sure it happens to a lot of your clients.
I think that's a wonderful thing, to talk about is that awareness. When you notice a pattern, you want love and intimacy, but you're always, happening to find people that just want a one-night stand, or that aren't ready to commit, or that just broke up and can't commit. So you need to ask yourself why. You need to, not in a critical way, but again, in a curious way. If I want this, then I'm curious as to why I'm always finding that.
Right, exactly. If you're saying, I really want to find love, I really want to find joy in my life, and yet you're doing really quite the opposite.
Right.
It's time to have the responsibility and start to really pay attention to the responsibility, because it's your responsibility to receive that, to get that.
Right.
But not if you're making the same bad choice over and over and over.
And interestingly enough, another question is, I worked with this one person who was saying exactly that. I want, an intimate relationship, and she wasn't finding one. And so I asked, can you imagine, being with someone who just loves you so unconditionally, just loves you for who you are as a human being? Take a moment to imagine that for a moment. And do you know what happened next? She immediately went, like
really?
that. Yes.
She pushed
she
away.
was repelled by it?
Yes.
But she was saying that's what she wanted.
But her left brain said, that's what I want.
Wow.
So this reaction, obviously her body was saying, no, hell no. And then, of course, we went back and we discovered some things in her childhood that, that's what was impeding it. And that's why she was unknowingly sabotaging herself by always being attracted to these men who couldn't be intimate, who. And so it's really important, to start to understand why you might be sabotaging yourself. If there's an area in your life that you're not really happy with, imagine reaching that goal, whether it's a job or a relationship. And what do you notice? I mean, do you notice? Is it easy to imagine? Do you notice yourself empowered? Do you notice yourself feeling strong and full? Or do you notice resistance? Do you notice a backing away? Do you notice anxiety? Do you notice pushback? And your body will tell you. And
so if somebody is feeling that kind of anxiety that you're talking about, what are the suggestions for them?
Well, then to be curious. Okay, why might I be repelling that job promotion
so
that I want?
So that begins the awareness process.
That begins exactly what you were talking about, the awareness piece. Yeah. And when we slow it down and we're curious about it and we take it into the body, then up will pop, that experience in childhood. Because let's face it, it's not just to blame parents, but our environment from 0 to 5 really kind of plants the seeds to who we become.
It does, but I always go back to, and we did choose our family.
Right. And I'm glad that you're saying that, because that's what we talk about in the show is both sides. So it could be, as you're saying, someone who came here to experience intimacy is, came here to have those experiences to really kind of,
to be
grow
able
and
to
learn and evolve.
Exactly, to grow and to evolve. And that's why we come here as a soul.
Exactly.
And so I always ask people, what are you learning now? Because this is a learning environment that we're all in here.
Yeah.
And that's because we can only experience duality here on Earth, right?
Right.
We can't experience it on the other side.
Right.
So we come here in order to grow by the duality that goes on here.
Absolutely. And here we have free choice. We have free will here.
Yeah.
So all the great planning that we do, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then we come down here and we're like, and then so.
Yeah.
So the question is, can we change that once we're here?
Yes.
We can.
Change our free will?
So in terms of, all right, so we say we're going to work on a certain thing, and then we come in and then we have that amnesia because we don't remember what we planned on the other side, and then we come here and we're in the midst of it. Can we change the, I guess, lesson that we wanted to learn and just say it was too hard, I don't want to learn
mind.
it?
Sure. Oh, of course.
Screw intimacy. I don't want to learn that anymore.
That is so funny.
I'm just curious.
Great question,
I'm
John.
just
I love
curious.
it. I love
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
As long, then maybe we'll take a different road.
Okay.
Because often in my practice, I see that a lot of souls that have taken on too much, and then often that can lead to, suicide. So you don't want to, hopefully they will not take it on too much.
Okay.
But yeah, of course. And you can always change as long as you're always growing. That's really a big point here. And meaning have the awareness, learning, have an awareness of the choices that you're making.
Yeah, I mean, that awareness makes all the difference in the world. It doesn't necessarily change anything right then and there and just with having awareness, but it certainly opens the door to, to so much change. And I love that you're saying that, John, about, can we change our mind? And I think it's part of just being compassionate with ourselves and saying, you know what, this is too much. This might be too much. Let me just work on this piece. Or
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
You know what works really well, particularly if we're trying to expand our tolerance for positive, is loving kindness meditation. Now, when I first heard it, I thought, okay, yeah, whatever. But that was my left brain. But then I was in a class and we did it, and it's so easy. I mean, it's basically just really focusing on the words, may I be happy, may I be healthy, and I think the third one is may I be strong. But then I did one that guided me, and so then you do it to someone that you love. You think of those 3 lines, whatever version, right? And then it said, do it to someone that did you wrong or that you're angry at. Ooh. And I have to tell you, in that moment, I felt the biggest release and felt like this weight off me as I was wishing that person to be happy, to be healthy.
Wow.
It was, I can almost say it was life-changing how it felt to be able to do that. Because when you're kind of, in guided meditation, I have to do guided because my mind goes, I was really into it, and I was really feeling, you start with yourself, you start with the person you love. So, of course, my daughter Sydney, or, and then you start it with a group of people that you love, and then with the world. And so you're really into feeling, may you be happy, may you. Wow. And then it hit me with that one, and I went, and it was powerful. Powerful.
Wow. What a nice release.
Yeah, it was an incredible release. And that can help with sabotage, too, when we're so stuck with, life has been unfair. Nothing works out for me and stuff. That thought process alone can be sabotaging our ability to grow and actually get what we want. So that's an important one,
our
too.
Our friend Judy Friedman. Hi, Judy.
I
love Judy.
Hi, Judy.
She said the greatest thing. She said, talking about sabotage, and she said, you mean that nagging, critical roommate in my head? I evicted her a long time ago.
I love that.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. That is so true. Judy, we're going to quote you on our website. I hope you don't mind, but we'll give you all the credit. That's exactly it.
So could this be happening subconsciously without our awareness?
Oh, absolutely.
That we are sabotaging. So like say for instance, we want success, but we're fear of success, which I've never really understood that one. So people that go out for it, and they're going for it, but then once it starts coming to them, they start doing things that push it away.
Yeah, they get into a fight with someone who, was going to introduce them to the person who was going to get them whatever,
Right.
From a psychological standpoint, to me, it means that if you weren't attuned to, if you weren't cared for in a way that made you feel like you deserve to be on the earth and you're loving, you deserve to be loved, then success and feeling unloved are two contradictory things. They're incongruent. And so sometimes you feel like you can't have both. If you truly believe at the core that you're not lovable, or you're not, or your parent always said, you're never going to be a success in this world, that kind of thing. So it's too incongruent to have both. And so that's where the work starts, is to heal that wound of maybe what you were told or how you feel or how you interpreted the actions of our parents and our environment.
And often what I've noticed is that people are afraid to do the work. So they may want to think that everything is okay with them, that they don't have anything, there's nothing the matter with them. But really, there's something the matter with everybody, with all of us. Come on. And so you just need to start opening that door and telling yourself it's okay to let go. It's okay. Your soul wants to expand. Your soul wants to grow out here. Your soul didn't come in to be a saboteur.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Or sometimes you think it's not going to happen. So if you keep yourself here at this level, then, you can still have the illusion of maybe it could have happened, but I don't want to go for it, because what if it doesn't happen? The pain is going to be too big.
Exactly. The pain.
Yeah.
Of that. Wow.
So there's a lot of reasons for it.
Okay.
And the best way that I've noticed that I work with myself and with people, is I slow it down. When I say those words to me, I want to be successful. What do I notice? What happens? What shows up? And how, when you work with
Well, what I do is when I work with somebody is I look at why they incarnated. So what are they?
Yeah.
So if they incarnated really, and I'll use this one example again, if they incarnated for love, I mean, they really did want to feel loved here. They really did. All right, well then let's look at the behavior. Your behavior is not telling me that. So let's
Right.
look at the behavior here.
Yeah.
And so I do a lot of that too.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to a call and
Sure.
do that live
Yeah.
on the air?
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right.
let's do it.
All right, 720, you're live on the air with Kellee and Shirley.
Hi there. Are you a saboteur? Nope. I guess
Hello?
so.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi there. What's your name?
Hi.
I'm
My
sorry.
name's Gina.
Hi, Gina.
Hi, Gina. Thank you so much for calling.
Hi, Gina. What's your birthday? Whoops. Uh-oh, you're not a saboteur, right?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
What's your birthday, Gina?
Is that better?
That's
Yeah.
better. Thanks,
Thank
honey.
My birthday is 6/4/71.
So how old are you? That makes it. I'm so bad with math.
45.
Ah, so you're just beginning again. That's an interesting time. So 45 is let me just say a couple of things and then did you lose your mother?
No, my dad.
It's your dad, huh? I've got a situation with your mom though. I don't know why. Immediately I went right to the mom there. There's something.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
There's something with your mom. Is she ill or is that a mental? Is she very difficult?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean that's really what the more that I'm picking up.
From what I've tried to do research on what could be going on, and the only thing I came up with is like narcissism.
Oh.
Well, no wonder I'm picking it up. Okay.
I don't know. So I'm trying. I seem to be becoming more aware of why my behaviors have been the way they have been. The more I look back and think about things that have been told to me, and
It's very confusing when you have a mother that's a narcissist.
Yeah.
You want to say something on that, Shirley? I mean,
Yes.
it's a tough one, honey. It's tough.
It's very tough, and I'm glad that you're doing research and finding out, because the first thing that you need to really know at a very deep level that it was not you. It's who she is as a human being, and not because of you. But it is very difficult because it's a person who takes up all the space, who does everything only if it serves them, who you're an extension of them, so you're kind of an object, and so you're made to kind of perform in a way, whether it's what you want to do or not. You don't feel seen as to who you are as a human being. I don't know if
Does
those
that make
things-
I know
sense to you?
I know I've experienced a lot of fear this last few months because I've been setting up more boundaries with her, and that's kind of uncomfortable for me because of fear of, I guess, her reaction to it.
Well, they usually rage.
Which I'm yeah. Well, it's kind of been getting easier, I guess. She's learning new behaviors because I've been setting up these boundaries, but I still have that like fear. Sometimes I get that anxiety when I have to set the boundary. I guess.
Have you read Stop Walking on Eggshells?
No.
Oh,
I haven't.
it's a seminal book on the
Pick up-
subject.
Yeah, she actually sounds like a borderline,
Yeah.
particularly if she gets angry of setting boundaries. However, interestingly enough, if you continue to set them and not let her cross them, she'll actually feel a little bit more contained. So it's kind of this dichotomy that happens where you need to be very, you set your boundaries very clearly and you don't let her cross them.
Yeah. An interesting thing too.
So
Your birth date this year it puts you on a whole beginning pattern. It's like you get to redo everything. So it's really a good conversation that we're having with you regarding this, because it will give you another opportunity to really set the boundaries with her and really understand. I mean, that personality type. It's very tough to have as a mother. It's a tough one to have as a mother.
I thought it was because I was adopted that she didn't have this feeling that a mother, like the way I feel for my children. I don't know if that
I got chills on
has
that.
anything to do with it.
I got chills on that. But it could be. It actually could be with a borderline. You never know. It could be.
Well, it's because of her personality disorder. It's not because you were adopted.
Okay.
That's a very clear distinction. What she has, particularly if you're reading, if you're seeing her with a lot of characteristics of the narcissist, and I'm going to ask you to look up borderline personality disorder in the book that Kellee mentioned, Stop Walking on Eggshells, the reason why they're called personality disorders is because it is part of her personality, part of her character structure. So she doesn't know she has it, and she have a very difficult time owning anything and thinking it's everybody else's fault.
Right. And perhaps in this lifetime,
Oh,
in this lifetime, you chose that mother because you were adopted. You chose that mother to learn boundaries, to learn getting a voice for yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you have a borderline mother, boy, you will pretty quickly learn a voice. Usually they scare you. They can scare you to
pretty
death.
quickly on, you learn to not say anything.
What I'm saying. I guess that's what I meant. You're right.
Yeah.
But the other thing is you come in as very, very smart. Very smart. And you think like a male, actually. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that comes from my dad, my adopted dad. I took on more of his that powerful side, I guess. He was an alcoholic, but I think he was also affected. Like, he was in fear of my mom, too. I don't know if that made him drink more, not to use that as an excuse. But
no, I think he helped you get in through this. I think he helped you get into this conversation that we're having. I have chills about your father. Is there a D around your father? I just wrote down the name Dave, and I don't know who that is around you, but I really feel that your father's really helped you get into this conversation because he was afraid of your mother. And the first thing I picked up was your mother.
Does this have anything to do with why I'm so fearful now of, like, I always feel like I'm doing something wrong, even though I have trouble trusting God. I don't know why. I just feel like something always bad's going to happen, or I'm doing something wrong, or
because you could never predict your mother's reaction, and that's a typical thing of a borderline. Is one day it's one thing, the next day it's something completely different. Maybe you parted your hair in the wrong way and they rage. Right. And so as a little kid, you learn that nothing is predictable, that she might yell at you for you don't even know why. And so that doesn't erase as you become an adult. You still carry that with you. And so it makes absolute sense.
Even in other situations, even in like other situations besides my mom.
Yes.
Am I carrying that to other places? Okay.
Absolutely, because it what it teaches you to do is to not trust yourself, to not trust your thoughts, to not trust your ideas, to not trust anything about you. And so that's going to be pervasive in your whole life. It's going to go into work. It's going to go into maybe even, parenting, into your relationships, into your whole, really pervasive in your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I go to meetings, usually try to get to as many as I can during the week. And is that going to help me? I know today it was weird. I walked in and they were talking about fear, and I walked in today feeling a lot of fear and anxiety this morning, and I did feel a little bit better when I left. It was their AA meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you been to therapy?
Yes, and that's another thing. I have a daughter that's mild special needs. She has had some issues with anger, and she's been doing really good, but I still get that anxiety. Like, she's not, like, if she's going to come around, I get really anxious. Instead of giving her the benefit of the doubt, I feel like, what's going to happen this time? So there's a lot of fear around that, and I don't know.
How old is she?
She's 22.
Okay, so she's older. Yeah.
Okay.
It's important to begin to name her emotions. Oh, you sound really angry, or I'm feeling really anxious, or, naming the emotions helps, tame them just a little bit from a neurobiological standpoint. I would suggest.
Well, that's what I was going to say in therapy. They were telling me that the therapist told me what seems like Nadine, my daughter, is doing okay. It seems like I'm the one that needs to, do some more work with myself, I guess.
Well, this is the year for you to begin that process, and especially with this lunar eclipse that we're talking about. And, one thing I can say, I've had many clients that with mothers that are borderline, and they always think that it's them, that they've done something.
Yeah.
And it's I'm sure you've done nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the title of the book in and of itself, Stop Walking on Eggshells, indicates how people feel when they're, dealing with someone who's a borderline. And being the kid of a borderline is extremely traumatic.
Very traumatic. Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you can't heal those wounds and become, to live to your fullest potential and not run, and not walk around with so much fear. You can absolutely reach that
And
goal.
there's a great book on mothers, borderline mothers, and I can't remember the name of it, but I will look that up and we'll put that on our site. That would be very helpful.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a chapter in Stop Walking on
Okay.
Eggshells about a borderline parent, but the one that you're talking about.
It's a funny. No, that's not.
Wait, is
well,
that the one? Is it the one that I have in my office?
It's the one you have in your office, really. It's the.
Oh.
It's this one right here. Jen. I don't mean to point like that one. What is that one? Oh, gosh!
If you
just
look at
looking
the
face.
expression on this
borderline
woman's
mom?
face,
borderline mom.
yeah, it's a very thin book. You can read it, in an hour. But looking at the expression on her face, and John's putting up in our. I've had so many people in my office go, "Oh my God, it doesn't look like my mother, but I recognize that expression."
It's that look. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof, honey. I mean, this is a great place for you to start. Reading is helpful. Learning is what it's all about.
Is it a good idea to be in a relationship with her? Or I know there's times when I felt like, okay, this is it. I can't talk to her at all. And then pretty soon she's needing my help, and I'm feeling, oh, she needs me.
And you get
I feel like helping.
I know.
you get guilted back into
And I
it.
want that attention, or I want that approval, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Part of it is grieving that you will never have the mother that you needed, and that's grieving.
Yeah.
It's almost like grieving, the death of the mother that you needed to have, and then setting very clear boundaries with her. And as long as she, as long as she respects your boundaries, then you can have a relationship with her. When she crosses the boundaries, and she will try, believe me.
You'll get triggered.
Yeah. Don't let your guard down. Then that's when you set another boundary. And if you have to stop talking to her for a little while, then you stop. You need to do what, you need to kind of help yourself now and take care of yourself and find your support group in other places.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you for calling. And, a good therapist will help too.
Yeah. Someone trained in somatic.
I have one right now. We're starting to get into that issue. It was marriage counseling, but now I'm focusing more on the other part because I think he's caught it where he's like, I think we need to start doing some work about you and your mom. And
Yeah.
So
it'll
we've
uncover
started
a
that.
lot. Don't be afraid. This is a great time to do it for you. For you personally, it's a perfect time. Okay?
Okay, so this year there's some changes happening.
Oh, there'll be a lot of changes happening, but it's a year that you get to start over again. It's a really wild year that way. It's perfect. And we've got this lunar eclipse that'll all add to the emotion of it. A lot of emotion here.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid, honey. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. You come in with a real strong will. You come in with an extremely strong will. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
And
Thank you so much for
And
taking
this
my
show
call.
goes on to live as a podcast, so you'll be able to listen back to it at UBN Radio or on iTunes under both sides now. So you'll be able to listen back to the show and hear the advice that Shirley and Kellee gave you, okay?
Yeah, I'll have to because I didn't have a pen or paper.
It's okay. I figured
Okay.
that's, yeah. So you can go back and listen to the replay.
Thank you, John.
Thanks,
Always
hon.
thinking ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Bye-bye.
calling.
Gina.
All right.
It's so important, that's a tough one. That is a real tough one, a borderline mother.
Gosh, it's one of the most difficult.
Well, it was so wild because I just kept going. I kept hearing mother, 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 and I'm
well,
like,
I was going to make a
okay,
comment. That goes to show how how strong that energy is.
Yeah.
Oh, that energy.
That she's still here. She's not passed, but
she's
that's
not
the
passed,
first
but
energy
it
that
was
you felt.
what her soul needed. What was, and I always pray before I start to do readings. Tell me what the soul needs, because they may not need a message from their father. They may need what's going on right now, and that's how this works. That's how you and I work. Really, how three of us work together.
Yeah.
All right, John.
You ready for another call?
I think so.
All right. So we have 443. Yeah, we have
443.
hundreds of calls waiting here.
Oh, my
443. Debbie, I think, is on the line.
Hi, Debbie. Can you hear us?
Hi, I can hear you. Yes.
Hi, Debbie. May I have your birth date?
I'm sorry.
What's your birth date?
Oh, 10/21/65.
Okay. And how can I help you today?
49.
49. Thank you, Shirley. Well, wait a minute.
Because I'm 66 and I'm 50, so. That's how I was
Oh,
able
no,
to
I'm
figure out
50.
so
I'm 50.
you're 50. You turned 50. Okay. All right. That means I'm closer to 51 now. Oh, my
I'd like
God.
to be 49.
Oh, my God.
They're trying to save you some age there.
Oh, that is hysterical.
Yeah, they are. That's
That's
perfect.
what I thought. Okay.
And you've been on hold for a long time, so
Thanks
thank
for
you, Debbie.
waiting. Debbie, how can I help you today?
Well, I'm wondering about my life purpose and how I get unstuck to living it.
All right. Well, it's interesting enough. Your life purpose, you come in with doing, all right, so you can do many things. It's not necessarily a jack of all trades, but your purpose was to come in to experience, like, let's say you wanted to be a writer for a period of time, and then you wanted to go and be a chef for a period of time, and then you wanted to be, riding horses for a period of time. I don't know. I'm just throwing these out as examples because you didn't come in with just one major purpose. Your purpose was to experience everything. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
You're what I call a dabbler.
frustrating
She's a
sometimes.
dabbler, but you're really good at dabbling.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
other thing is you're really, 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 really smart. And you also came in, and not everybody does, but are you looking for that soulmate connection?
I am, yes.
Yeah. Have you always looked for that?
I think I have.
I would bet you probably have in between dabbling and different things. And it's not dabbling because you're really good at what you do. Oh, I'm getting that you're very artistic. Is that correct?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting that really strongly. And I'm also being
Pretty
told
creative, yeah.
Yeah, very creative. And did you sell your wares? There's something about you in art and selling, and I guess you have trouble letting go of some of it.
No, I don't sell it.
Okay.
I don't sell anything.
Right. Because
I use it as I used to do, I used to sell ceramics, so maybe that's
what I was looking at, looking at ceramics.
Yes.
It's funny you would say that.
I'm
It's
sorry,
exactly what I was
that
seeing.
was a while ago. I have done a lot of things, so
Yeah, and that's really what your purpose is. So you didn't come in just to do one thing. You are living your purpose, and you also came in. Another reason you came in, though, really was to look for that real. And not everybody has this, and not everybody cares about this. But a soul mate. There's an expression here that you've been looking for and longing for that to express a soulmate. Is that correct? Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it makes sense to me, yeah.
Okay. Because it still will happen. That is something that is, you've had different ones, but you do have somebody that does step in for that. And maybe when you're even a little older that comes in for that. So you will have that love that you've been looking for. I can see that.
Okay. So that has something to keep looking forward to then.
Yeah, and you're not, you've got a long life ahead. You're not going anywhere. Just keep trying different things. And as long as you always have passion, because you're somebody that if you don't have the passion for it, you'll actually forget about it.
Yeah, I do. I do. I let it fall away. Yes.
Yeah.
I've just lately I've been feeling like a ping pong ball. I live in one state. I have family members living in another state, and I feel pulled from like where I'm standing to move, but not really sure that's where I should be. So,
well, I think after this eclipse that's coming up, you'll probably have pay attention to your emotions, and you'll probably start to have some real strong ideas about which direction that you want to head in. Okay?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sounds like
Thank you for your time.
What
What are you getting, Cheryl?
The words that came into my mind is to not pay attention to what we think it should look like.
Oh, so true.
Because society kind of says that we're supposed to just do one thing or like one thing, and if we dabble, as John, as you put it, in a lot of different things, that makes us unstable or not, not commit and stuff. And I think, Kellee, you're saying, no, that's what you came here to do, is to try a whole bunch of different things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're making a soup. You're taking all these different ingredients from all these different things that you've done, and you're putting together a recipe to make a soup.
So it's going to be fabulous. Keep going.
So it seems to me to trust your intuition and not go by what society thinks is the right thing to do. In quotes.
Right.
I don't know if that helps, but that's what came to my mind.
Okay, that helps tremendously. Yes,
Shirley, that was
Thank
good.
you very much. I appreciate that.
So you're actually making a potion.
You guys have,
You're making a
I'm making
potion.
a what? A
You're making a
potion.
potion. You're putting
making-
all these different aspects together, and you're going to make a potion to make something magical.
Okay, my cousin will like that. She's Wiccan. She will like that.
You know what I mean, like Harry Potter or whatever.
Love
You're
that.
putting together something magical.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for
Thanks,
calling.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It was sweet of her. She was on hold for 50 minutes.
Oh,
so
bless
yes,
your heart.
I'm
yes.
so glad.
Glad we could get to some of the ones that have been
Yeah.
holding even.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
Absolutely.
take on some more.
You ready for some more?
Yes, I am. Of course.
All right. So let's see.
I love
here.
when you chime in. I love when you both chime in. It's perfect.
All right. I think we have another one here about. Let's see, I'm trying to find. Yeah, this one's been holding for 49 minutes. So I'm just going to try to get through the ones that have been holding for a very long time. 757. I don't have her name.
Hi there.
Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Hello.
Hi, Kate. What's your birth date?
10/20/69.
Oh, you just had a 10/21 and now at 10/20. 69. So you are, we're playing the age game again. Oh, forget about it.
69.
What?
47?
47? I don't know.
Going to be, yes.
Oh,
There you go.
all right. I just wanted to put this out there for anybody listening. There's few times in life where there are big changes in our lives. 44, 45, 46 is a change. Another one is 55, 56, 57. And I don't know why I'm saying that right now with you, Kate. Did you just come through a change?
A major one, yes.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Wow.
And also, you are somebody that is, did you just go through a divorce?
No.
Okay. So because I'm getting some sort of a change with that. Because you're a partner person.
I'm sorry?
You're a partner person.
Yes.
Yeah. Partners are important to you. How can I help you today?
My children's father has passed. And that maybe the divorce, maybe you've
Okay.
seen, I'm not sure.
Okay, I saw an ending
And,
there. I did. Maybe was it a rocky marriage?
Well, I was very young when I married him.
Okay.
So I was divorced at a very young age. So that was my first love.
Oh.
And I had 3 children from him, and recently he had passed away in May. And my children had found him, and they're having major issues with the way he passed.
They actually are the ones that found him.
Yes.
Oh, that's a very difficult. I'm sorry to hear that. Wow. I'm trying to think what I'm getting. Hold on a minute. Let me just kind of let this come in for a minute. Oh, gosh. And you have is it a younger daughter? Because she looks like she took on the most of this. Is that about right?
Yes, she took on a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm getting that. And it, oh boy. Oh, I have chills all over here with this one. Whoa, was that a suicide?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does she
boy.
feel responsible? the
Yeah.
youngest
Oh, I
one?
got chills. Oh boy, that is such a rough one.
Does your youngest feel responsible?
Well, she's not too young. She's my only daughter. She's 32.
Well, but
And,
like that, she
yeah,
could have prevented
I don't
it,
know
or
if she takes I'm not sure if she feels she took on the responsibility, but she definitely took care of everything on her own.
Oh,
It was
wow.
a freezing process for her to, take on everything, and instead of her brothers doing so.
Oh, bless her heart. That's very difficult when you have something like this. I'm so sorry.
Is there any kind of message coming from him that I can relate to her?
I'm getting that he's very sorry. He's very sorry it looks like for the mess he created, that he's very sorry for the mess. It was not against her, as it's not against anybody. He's telling me it was just, he had a lot of pain. And was there a lot of alcohol or drugs involved as well?
I believe so.
Yeah. And this was a man that is very he was very, almost too sensitive to live. He was really sensitive about everything. And he also had a lot of deep anger in there too. He held a lot in. That's really what it is. He held a lot in.
Yeah.
And but it had nothing to do, he was not ever against your daughter, ever. No. Okay. And she needs to know that.
But he has a lot of grandchildren that this affect as well.
Oh, my goodness.
He wasn't the best father, but he was a phenomenal grandfather.
But he did love those kids. He just had he just couldn't take the pain, is what I'm hearing. That there was a lot of, he says there was a lot of sadness in his life, his personal life. Right. I don't know if he felt alone all the time, but I'm getting some sort of a deep sadness with him. Do you remember that he spent time alone? Like he had an alone thing?
Yeah.
He had to be. This guy had to be alone.
He could have been neglected as a kid, which will instill this kind of terror, and feeling of aloneness that it's almost hard to explain.
Yeah, it is actually. And then I'm also getting that wait a minute, hold on, that he couldn't achieve what he had wanted to achieve. And I'm not sure if it's because he was major depression here, major depression. And it looks like your daughter tried to get him help, like a therapist. Yeah. So, and he's telling me he screwed that up. He had a self-loathing issue. Your daughter needs to know that. There was a lot of self-loathing. And also there was a part of him that was almost dangerous. Does that make sense to you? I don't know why I'm getting that.
No, I'm not.
Okay, I wonder if you asked your daughter about that. There was something. Did he have guns in the house?
Yes.
Okay, that's probably why I'm picking that up, because it's like that kind of thing. And please tell her how much he understands that he didn't mean for this to destroy her. Okay, please, it's a really important message. He's just shaking his head. He sits on her bed and he just wants her to know how much he does love her, and he does love all of the kids. Okay? It was really an act out of his own self feeling of worthy, not unworthy. He had bad feelings about himself, very negative.
Okay.
She
has a very important court hearing tomorrow. Actually, today. Can you see the outcome of that?
Oh, today is for. Are you on the East Coast? Or is it?
Yes, East Coast.
Yeah, so
it would be the 12th.
It'll be the 13th.
13th for tomorrow.
Yeah.
What's your daughter's birth date?
August 29th. Sorry.
Oh boy.
84.
Oh, my daughter's 84, born in 84 also. 32, yeah. All right, so let me think. Hold on a minute. Let me just look at this. Tomorrow for her will bring her back to a place, and she'll get the resolve. What I'm hearing is that she'll get the resolve that she needs tomorrow. All right?
Resolve that she needs tomorrow?
Yeah. She'll get that resolve. It'll be resolved. Okay.
In her favor?
It looks like in her favor that'll be resolved. It does look like it's in her favor. Okay.
And there was one more question.
Mm-hmm.
I've been dating someone for 8 months, and it seems to be going very well.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything I
What's his
Look
person's
out
What's his
for-
person's birth date?
December, I think it's 6th or 16th, 54.
Oh, well, okay. So you don't have it exactly. Well, that's all right. Well, interesting. Again, we've got this lunar eclipse coming up. So this would be a time where some deep emotions are going to come out. And this relationship has legs. Yeah, this one has legs to it. It's actually a nice relationship. As long as, you always have to, he has to respect you. He's got to have a lot of respect for you. A lot. Do you argue with him?
We just got him one last night. I just had to put him in his place.
Yeah.
Things that are important to me that
Yeah, well.
that come first, which are my children.
Yeah, well, of course. But you are a relationship person. You could probably get this guy into shape, as they say.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, good luck. It'll be fine.
Thank
All right,
you.
you bet.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
calling.
Thank you for everything. You've been a great help. Thank you
Oh,
again.
thanks.
Thank you. So unfortunately, we have run out of time.
Can you believe how
What?
fast
Are
this
you
hour?
sure?
Now, yes.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I am so sorry for the people waiting on
We
call.
can't do one more? No?
Well,
We can.
can we?
We can slide one
We
on
slide
in.
one more? We should do one more,
I'm
Cheryl.
happy
Come on.
to. Hey,
That's the spirit here.
I'm not-
The spirit's moving me right now.
Don't kill the messenger here.
Deep conversations.
No, I love this. I can go on forever.
I'm surprised Kelly, because Kelly doesn't like nights, so
I
it's kind of
know,
funny.
I
So
know,
but
she's up and
awake.
ready.
I'm up and
We
ready.
want to encourage everyone to please call next week.
Yeah.
We're sorry if we don't get to you, but let's pick one more and let's just do.
please
All right.
do.
Let's
So
just
let's-
do one more real quick.
All
Yeah.
right, so let's go to 317. You're on the air with Kelly and Shirley.
Hi there. What's your name?
Connie,
Hi,
Well,
Connie.
hi, Connie. What's your birth date, Connie?
2/23/52.
2/23. Okay. And how can I help you today?
Well, in 2011, I lost everything. I lost my home, my job, my husband, one of our two Yorkies,
Oh, no.
and in 2012, I was able to get what is a good job, but I've had a constant struggle with it with the woman who is my boss for the last almost 5 years. She just bullies me. And it's a good job. I don't want to lose it. I'm almost 65 years old. Since my husband's died, I've really let myself go, and I don't think anyone would hire me now. So I need this job. I'm so fearful every day
Oh,
that I'm going to lose again.
wow.
And
Well,
so
it
you
kinda
say she's
fits
very
in.
difficult?
Excuse me?
Are you saying that your boss is very difficult?
Yes, my life is.
You've had a
I
tough...
just don't have much of a life.
Oh.
I just work, and I try to. I've built myself back up. My husband didn't leave me anything, so I had to start over. And I've got a little place that I live, but if I don't work, I'll lose everything. Yeah. And I just feel like I'm just waiting for the next shoe to drop.
Well, you've had a lot of trauma.
I don't feel like I have any much life left.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you've had a lot of trauma here. I'm glad that we're talking to you. I'm glad that you were our last caller here with us, because it's funny. I went through a situation where I lost everything myself and I had to rebuild myself. Now, I understand that you're 65, but I can tell you that you still have a lot of life in you yet. Okay, you got to hear what I'm saying here. You actually came in to rebuild, and you can be a rebuilder. We can't allow anybody to sabotage you. Do you know you can't allow that? When we were talking about sabotage,
Yeah.
whether your boss is difficult or not, can you think of anything to be grateful for right now? Well, I can tell you, you got through to us. What to give me some?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
I'm grateful that I can still work.
You're grateful for your work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
I'm grateful that I've been able to do this, because I haven't had to be a burden to my daughter or anyone since my husband died.
Oh my gosh. I know your husband's telling me that you can do it. He's telling me you're a fighter and that you have the fighter tenacity in you. Was there a fire? Did you lose some stuff through a fire?
No. He was a realtor and lost everything
when the market stopped in 2008. So we lost everything that we owned.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that happened to a lot of people. But I am getting that you are a fighter, that you can rise, you're right, like the phoenix, rise above, that you can continue to rise, that you have that strength. There's like a fierceness underneath this, actually. You got to let out your inner fierceness. You're not going to get fired. You just have to keep believing in yourself every day and going forward every day. Can you hear that?
Yes.
It also seems like you're working with someone who may have a personality disorder, because that's what
because of the fear.
Well, because that's what people talk about. It's so difficult, and then you start to be fearful, and maybe you start to get some somatic body symptoms, like on your way to work, you start to get a stomach ache, or the night before work. So I would, John, can you look up, there's a wonderful book called Toxic Coworkers, and you can even Google it, if you don't want to buy the book, but how to deal with a boss who has a personality disorder. Maybe she's a borderline, maybe she's a narcissist, or even a sociopath. But with a few tools, you might be able to help yourself, deal with her a little bit better. When I do, that's it, John. I do a lot of executive coaching, and one of the hardest things is when someone is working with, whether it's a coworker, but a lot of times when it's a boss that has a personality disorder, it is not easy. So know that it's not something that you're making up in your mind, that there's a reason for it to be difficult, and there are tools in this book that John's putting up online, and we'll leave it on our website, that can help you with just a few things. That can help you at least minimize a little bit of the difficulty of it, knowing that it's not going to go away, particularly if they have a personality disorder. Remember, they don't know they have it. They blame everybody else. It's everybody else's fault. So that might be, if we had more time, I would ask you more questions about how she is, and then I can help you a little bit with that. But search it.
She's pretty narcissistic.
She is, yeah. So it's all about her, and she wants all the credit, and she's going to, So part of it is knowing that you're working with someone like that, and that in and of itself sometimes can feel relieving.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to go to work. I'm going to,
What makes it so difficult is I have nobody to talk to now. I have to deal with this all on my own, and I have no place to put it.
Do you have any friends that you can talk to?
No, my husband and I had moved to a new city right after he lost everything to try to start over.
Oh.
And so I don't know anyone here.
So look up meetups. There's a wonderful thing online called Meetups, and I think meetup.com or something like that, and they have, based on your area where you live, it's a social group, and it's groups that get together that do things that
all
people
ages.
are exactly people that love to go to the movies, people that love to try new restaurants, people that love underwater basket weaving.
Right.
It doesn't matter, and you can go, and sometimes it's a hit or a miss. Sometimes you find people that you might want to nurture a relationship with, and sometimes you don't. But it's going to be important for you to push yourself to do more social things, so you can start to create a support group for yourself.
So you can start to live again without being in fear.
Yeah.
And she's in Indianapolis, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
Or
in
near it?
Indianapolis?
Yeah, I'm in Indianapolis.
Okay.
Oh, it's
So-
a great town.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that you heard from my husband. I hope my two
He says
Yorkies
that
are
you
with him.
have. He says that you have a fortitude like nobody's. Like, you were his strength too. You were really his strength.
Yeah.
And he's told me for you to rely on that. To rely on that. He's telling me he's with your mom. Does that make sense to you?
My mom's still alive, but he's with his mom.
Okay, so I heard your mom. What is it with? Oh, then are you with your mom?
No, my mom is in St. Louis, and she's in a nursing home. She has dementia. She knows she's 92.
Oh, wait a minute.
I truly believe she's going to be going soon.
So what happens in a dementia state is often they leave, while they're still alive. They're in both places. Because I got with, well, I'm not sure which one now. I'm kind of getting confused. But he does love you very much, and I'll leave you with that, okay?
Thank you.
And I just looked
thanks.
up online,
Thank you very
and
much
there's
for taking my call.
Of course. Thanks for calling.
Very welcome. We're so glad you called. John?
I was just saying, there's several spiritual meetup groups in Indiana, 5 miles of Indianapolis, within 5 miles. So if you go to meetup.com and you put in, if you put in Indianapolis and then just put in spiritual, you'll get a whole list. I'm looking at them right now.
And also put in things that you're interested in.
Yeah.
If you're interested in, in book groups, if in reading, if you're interested in hiking, if you're interested in taking walks. I mean, there's so many different, it's such a wonderful site. There's so many different groups that really gets you out there. And you at least know that you have one thing in common with everyone who shows up, because you're doing something that you're interested in. And you never know if you find some people, again, it's a hit or miss. You never know if you find some people, like-minded people that you want to nurture a relationship with, and you can go out to coffee and, start that way, okay?
All right, awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
very
calling.
welcome.
Thank you.
So we are very late. Tony, the owner of UBN, is going to be very angry at us, but I don't care because we're doing a service to people. We are. So we're so sorry for the people we couldn't get in touch with, but we're here every Monday night. We're going to be taking calls, correct?
We are. And also, if anybody has any topics they'd like us to talk about, please go to either our website or our Facebook.
Yeah.
Our Facebook,
Go. Make sure you go to our Facebook and like us there, so then we can, get a little information and know what to plan for in the next show. Yeah. So like us there and then post in the comments. At Both Sides Now TV is the Facebook page. Both Sides Now TV.
We're also on Twitter.
On Twitter as well.
Message
it's the same
us
thing.
through there, and we will talk about topics that you're interested in.
Yeah.
All right. Have a really good night. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, everybody.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now, featuring the unconventional duo Dr. Shirley and Kellee White.
Two perspectives, one world.